The alarm blared across United Earth Defense Force headquarters at exactly 3:17 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Captain James Walker jolted awake in his quarters, reaching for his uniform before his eyes were fully open. In his 15 years of service, middle-of-the-night alerts usually meant one thing: asteroids off course or satellite debris needing cleanup. But the urgent tone in Commander Ellis's voice told him this was different. "Captain Walker, report to command immediately. This is not a drill." Walker ran through the corridors, his mind racing through possibilities. Space junk wouldn't cause this level of alarm. A reactor breach on one of the lunar bases. Political tension with the Mars colonies. The command center was in controlled chaos when he arrived. Officers hurried between stations, speaking in hushed but urgent tones. On the main view screen was something Walker had never seen before. "What am I looking at?" he asked, stepping beside Commander Ellis, a stern woman with silver-streaked hair who never showed fear, until now. "It appeared 20 minutes ago," she said, her voice steady but tight. No approach trajectory. No engine signature. It was simply not there. And then it was. The object on screen was unmistakably a ship, and enormous. Its dark hull stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, with angular sections that reminded Walker of ancient Earth naval vessels, but with impossible geometries that seemed to shift slightly when viewed too long. Alien? Walker asked the question everyone was thinking. "Unknown," Ellis replied. "But here's where it gets strange. We sent standard greeting protocols on all frequencies. No response. But then we got this." She nodded to Communications Officer Ben Reed, who tapped his console. A message appeared on a secondary screen. Simple text in perfect English. "Systems on in a line. Guardian vessel activated. Awaiting Defender Protoseos." It's in every human language simultaneously, Reed explained. English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, even dead languages like Latin and ancient Sumerian. "Whoever built this knows us very well." Walker studied the ship. No visible weapons, though something about its design suggested immense power. No external markings except for a simple symbol near what appeared to be a docking bay. A circle with a stylized shield. "Have we tried communicating further?" Walker asked. "Yes," Ellis said. "It responds to direct questions with minimal information. It identifies itself only as the Guardian and states its purpose is to serve the defenders of humanity. It's requested permission to move to a stable orbit around Earth and awaits authorized personnel to board." The room fell silent. An unknown vessel with technology beyond anything humans had built, appearing from nowhere, asking for humans to board it. Every science fiction story suggested this was either humanity's greatest opportunity or its final trap. "The Security Council is meeting now," Ellis continued, "but they want a first contact team ready. That's you, Walker. Your deep space experience and first contact training make you the obvious choice." Walker nodded, though his mouth went dry. His first contact training had been theoretical exercises for a possibility no one truly expected in their lifetime. "Assemble your team. 6 members maximum. Be ready in 2 hours." The approach to the Guardian was tense. Walker had chosen carefully. Dr. Maya Green, xenobiologist. Lieutenant Tom Davis, security expert. Dr. Alex Cooper, physicist. Officer Lisa Ray, communications specialist. And technical specialist Mike Jones, the best engineer on the station. Their shuttle seemed tiny against the massive hull of the Guardian as they approached a bay that had opened silently at their request. "Still no life signs," Green confirmed, checking her scanner. "If there's a crew, they're either shielded or not life as we understand it." The docking procedure was strangely simple, almost as if the ship was designed for human vessels. As they stepped through the airlock, Walker half expected to meet aliens or robotic sentries. Instead, they entered an empty, pristine corridor with soft lighting that activated as they moved forward. "The air is breathable," Green said, checking her instruments. Perfect Earth, normal composition. Temperature 21 degrees Celsius. That can't be coincidence, Cooper said, running his scanner along a wall. This ship was made for humans. They moved deeper into the vessel, finding more empty corridors and rooms with purposes they could only guess at. Most striking was the technology. Control panels with interfaces that seemed to anticipate their touch, and displays showing information before they asked for it. "Captain," Ray called, standing before a larger door. "I think this is the bridge." The door slid open as Walker approached. The bridge was a spacious command center with stations that looked eerily similar to human designs, but with technology centuries beyond their capabilities. As they entered, systems activated, holographic displays flickering to life around the room. A central console illuminated, and a voice, neither male nor female, but somehow comforting, spoke. "Welcome, Defenders. Guardian vessel is operational and awaiting command authorization." "Who built you?" Walker asked. "Where did you come from?" "This vessel was constructed by humans," the voice replied. "Temporal origin classified until command authorization is completed." The team exchanged shocked glances. "Humans built this," Cooper whispered. "That's impossible. We're at least 200 years from this level of technology." Before Walker could ask more questions, alarms blared throughout the ship. A holographic display expanded in the center of the bridge, showing the solar system. At its edge, multiple objects were approaching. Fast. "Warning," the Guardian's voice announced. "Hostile fleet detected. Vrel battle group approaching Sol system. Estimated time to weapons range 6 hours. Threat assessment. Extinction level event." Walker felt his blood run cold. "What are Vrel? Are you saying Earth is under attack?" "Affirmative. The Vrel are an advanced species dedicated to eliminating potential rival civilizations. Earth has been designated for termination. Guardian vessel was deployed to prevent this outcome." As if to confirm the ship's warning, Walker's comm unit buzzed with an emergency channel from Earth Command. "Captain Walker." Commander Ellis's voice was tight with controlled panic. "Return immediately. Deep space sensors have detected multiple objects approaching at FTL speeds. They're not responding to hails, and their configuration suggests weaponry. The Security Council is declaring a global emergency." Walker looked at his team, then at the displays showing the approaching threat. "Tell them we're staying aboard the Guardian. This ship knows what's coming, and I think it might be our only chance to survive it." As Walker said those words, the Guardian systems fully activated, the ship humming with power around them. "Command authorization accepted," the ship announced. "Guardian protocols initiated. Preparing defensive systems. The defenders of humanity will not fall today." And for the first time in human history, humanity prepared to meet an alien species in battle. 4 hours until the Vrel enter weapons range, the Guardian's voice announced. Captain Walker paced the bridge, watching his team work at stations that seemed to mold themselves to human use. Despite their initial fear, each crew member had found their place on this impossible ship. "Earth Command keeps demanding we return," Communications Officer Ray said, holding her hand to her earpiece. "General Barnes is not happy." Walker nodded. "Tell them we're their best defense right now. Ask them to prepare all orbital platforms and ground defenses." In truth, Walker knew Earth's defenses would be useless against ships that could travel faster than light. Humanity's most advanced weapons were like stone spears against tanks. "Captain, you should see this," Cooper called from what they had identified as the weapons station. He had accessed the Guardian's defensive systems. "These aren't like anything we've ever built. The ship has something called temporal shields and causality weapons." "Can you use them?" Walker asked. Cooper's hands hovered over the console. "That's the strange thing. The interface, it's like it's teaching me. I look at a control, and somehow I know what it does." The others reported similar experiences. The ship wasn't just accepting them. It was training them, faster than any human learning should be possible. "Guardian," Walker addressed the ship directly. "Why us? If you were sent to defend humanity, why not bring your own crew? The bridge lights dimmed slightly. This vessel requires human operators with specific mental attributes. You and your team possess those attributes. What attributes? Dr. Green asked. Courage, empathy, sacrifice, the core qualities of defenders. Walker was about to ask more when a new alert sounded. Incoming transmission from lead Vrel vessel, the Guardian announced. Displaying. The main view screen shifted, showing a being unlike anything humans had imagined. The Vrel had a vaguely insectoid appearance, with multiple limbs and compound eyes, but with an intelligence in its gaze that was unmistakable. Its exoskeleton gleamed with embedded technology. When it spoke, the Guardian translated. Humans of Earth. The Vrel commander's words appeared as text beneath its image. I am Supreme Commander Krath of the Vrel Purification Fleet. Your species has been evaluated and found unsuitable for inclusion in the galactic community. On what grounds? Walker asked, stepping forward. The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Your species progresses too rapidly. Your violence is too deeply encoded. Our predictive models show a 94% probability that humans will become a destabilizing force within 300 rotations. The Council of Ascendant Species has authorized your removal. Walker felt cold anger rising. You're here to exterminate us because we might become a problem someday. This is mercy, Commander Krath replied. A swift end rather than the wars your kind would bring to the stars. Surrender your new vessel. Yes, we detect the Guardian ship, and we will make your ending painless. Your core world will be preserved as a nature reserve. The transmission ended abruptly. Like hell, Davis muttered, his hand instinctively moving to where his sidearm would be. Walker turned to his team. Options. We fight, Cooper said simply. The Guardian clearly has capabilities we don't understand. Maybe enough to give us a chance. Against an entire fleet? Ray asked. We're 5 people on one ship. 6 people, Walker corrected. And the Guardian itself seems aware. The odds are irrelevant, the ship's voice stated. This scenario has been calculated. Victory is possible. Walker made his decision. Guardian, what do you need from us to engage the Vrel? Full neural interface is recommended, the ship replied. This will allow optimal response time and weapons coordination. Neural interface. Green looked concerned. You want to connect to our brains. It is temporary and non-invasive, the Guardian explained. But it will allow you to control ship systems with thought speed rather than physical interaction. Walker studied his team's faces, scared but determined. We do it. Show us how. The neural interface was unlike anything Walker had experienced. As the Guardian activated the connection, it felt like his consciousness expanded throughout the ship. He could feel the vessel's systems as if they were parts of his own body. Engines like powerful legs, sensors becoming extended senses, weapons ready like clenched fists. Around him, each crew member underwent the same transformation. Cooper's mind merged with the weapons systems, understanding them instantly. Green connected to life support and damage control. Ray expanded through communications, monitoring thousands of channels simultaneously. Davis integrated with defensive systems, while Jones became one with the engines and power core. They were still themselves, but more, their human minds enhanced by the Guardian's technology. Vrel fleet approaching weapons range, the Guardian announced, though now it felt like the thought came from within Walker's own mind. They have deployed in attack formation. 27 vessels detected. Walker didn't need to give verbal orders anymore. His thought was enough. Battle stations. The Guardian surged forward, its engines pushing it to speeds that should have crushed the humans inside, but the ship's inertial controls kept them stable as they moved to intercept the alien fleet. The first Vrel shots came as streams of energy that Walker somehow knew would disintegrate matter at the molecular level. Through Davis, the Guardian's temporal shields activated, not stopping the attacks but shifting them fractions of a second out of phase with the present, causing them to pass harmlessly through where the ship had just been. "My God," Cooper whispered, though his thoughts echoed to all of them. "They're trying to erase us from existence." "Return fire," Walker commanded silently. Through Cooper, the Guardian fired. Not energy beams or projectiles, but distortions in space-time itself that caused two Vrel ships to intersect their own paths from moments earlier. The resulting collision tore both vessels apart. The neural link let Walker feel the Guardian's cold calculation. This was just the opening move in a complex battle strategy. Earth's defensive platforms opened fire as the Vrel came into range, but their weapons barely scratched the alien hulls. 3 Vrel ships broke formation, heading for Earth's surface. "They're targeting major cities," Ray reported, her consciousness stretched across communications networks. "Moscow, Beijing, New York." "Intercept," Walker ordered. The Guardian responded instantly, moving faster than seemed possible, positioning itself between Earth and the attacking ships. Through Jones, Walker felt the Guardian divert power to a different weapon system. "Causality inversion ready," Jones reported, his voice strained from the mental effort. Fire. A wave of distortion spread from the Guardian, catching the 3 Vrel ships. They didn't explode or break apart. They simply stopped, frozen in space, as if time itself had ceased to flow around them. The remaining Vrel ships regrouped, clearly surprised by the effectiveness of the defense. A new transmission came through. "Impossible." Commander Kraft's voice held genuine shock. That technology was theoretical only. "Who are you humans, really?" Walker let himself smile as he responded, speaking for his crew and his species. "We are the defenders of humanity. And we're just getting started." The Vrel commander's compound eyes seemed to narrow. "This changes nothing. You've simply upgraded your extinction from merciful to painful." As the transmission ended, the full Vrel fleet advanced as one, weapons charging. Through the neural link, Walker felt the Guardian's assessment. This would be the real test. "Hold position," he ordered his crew. "Protect Earth at all costs." The Guardian's systems pulsed in response, and Walker sensed something new activating deep within the ship, something that might reveal more about where this vessel had really come from, and why it had chosen humanity to defend. The battle raged for hours. Through the neural link, Walker and his crew fought as one with the Guardian, moving with impossible speed and precision against the Vrel fleet. The alien ships were powerful, but they hadn't expected such resistance from a supposedly primitive species. 7 Vrel ships now drifted as lifeless hulks. The Guardian had taken damage too. Parts of its lower decks were exposed to space, and power fluctuated through its systems. But still it fought on. In Walker's mind, information flowed constantly. Battle data, ship status, crew conditions, all processed instantly. But now, something else was coming through the neural link. Images, memories, not his own. "Captain," Green's voice broke through his concentration. "Are you seeing this too?" The others nodded, their faces showing confusion and fear. In all their minds, they saw the same vision. Earth, but different. Cities in ruins, skies dark with ash. The last humans fighting a losing battle against overwhelming forces. "These aren't fantasies," Cooper said. "They feel like memories." As they fought the Vrel, the visions continued, becoming clearer. They saw a team of scientists working desperately in an underground facility, heard their voices as they argued about time and causality, watched as they poured their knowledge into a massive ship, the Guardian. The vessel carries partial memory imprints. The Guardian's voice explained in their minds. They are becoming accessible as the neural link strengthens. Walker saw a woman directing the final preparations of the ship. She had his eyes. The name tag on her uniform read Admiral Walker. "That's impossible," he whispered. "Not impossible," the Guardian replied. "Merely improbable. She is from a timeline that now will never exist. Your descendant from a future where humanity lost this war." The revelation hit Walker like a physical blow. The Guardian wasn't just from the future. It was a final desperate gamble from a timeline where the Vrel had won. The ship was sent back, Ray said, understanding dawning on her face, to change history. Correct. The Guardian confirmed. The last humans created this vessel as a temporal anomaly, a ship that exists outside normal time. They sent it to this crucial moment when humanity first encountered the Vrel. More visions flowed through their minds. Billions of humans dying as planet after planet fell to the Vrel and their allies. The final desperate plan to send the Guardian back, knowing it would erase their timeline but might save another. In my original timeline, Earth fell today, the Guardian explained. No defense was mounted. Humanity was unprepared. The survivors were hunted across the stars for 300 years until the last outpost fell. Walker felt the weight of this knowledge. Those future humans had sacrificed their entire reality for this chance. Watch out, Davis shouted, his mind directing the shields to block a concentrated attack from 3 Vrel ships. The Guardian shuddered under the impact. Power reserves at 47%, Jones reported. We can't take much more of this. Walker pulled his focus back to the battle. Questions about time paradoxes would have to wait. Guardian, what options do we have? Through the neural link, the ship showed them a new weapon system, something called a timeline collider. Warning, the Guardian said. This system draws power directly from human neural energy. Use will shorten crew lifespan. Walker understood immediately. The future humans hadn't just built a ship, they had created a weapon powered by human life force itself. How much will it cost us? Walker asked. Estimated 5 years of life per activation at current crew size. His team was silent, but through the link, Walker felt their resolve. 5 years of life against the extinction of their species. It wasn't even a question. Do it, Walker ordered. Power surged through the Guardian, drawing energy not from its engines, but from the life force of the 6 humans linked to it. Walker felt a cold sensation spreading through his body, a faint echo of his own mortality. The view screen showed a wave of temporal energy expanding from the Guardian, washing over the Vrel fleet. Where it touched, ships aged. Metal corroded, systems failed, organic components withered. 4 more Vrel ships drifted powerless. The remaining vessels pulled back, clearly shocked by this new weapon. For a moment, there was an eerie silence in space. Then Cooper called out, new contacts, bigger than the Vrel ships. 3 massive vessels had appeared at the edge of the solar system, each one dwarfing both the Vrel fleet and the Guardian. Their design was different, sleeker, with a sense of ancient power. The Council has arrived. The Guardian's voice had a new tone, something like dread. What council? Walker asked. The Council of Ascendant Species, the true power behind the Vrel. They rarely intervene directly. That they have come means they consider this situation significant. A transmission came through on all frequencies, translated instantly by the Guardian. The being on screen was unlike the Vrel, more humanoid, with luminescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. Humans of Earth, the being spoke, its voice melodic yet cold. I am Overseer Thale of the Council of Ascendant Species. Your resistance is unexpected but futile. The timeline alteration you have attempted is noted and will be corrected. Walker stood straighter, speaking for all humanity. We have the right to exist, to defend ourselves. You have no rights the Council does not grant. Thale replied. Your species has been judged and found wanting. However, your possession of temporal technology is troubling. Surrender the Guardian vessel, and your species will be allowed to live under restrictions. Refuse, and we will erase humanity not just from the present, but from all of history. The transmission ended. Through the neural link, Walker felt his crew's fear and their determination. They had already sacrificed years of their lives. They would give the rest if needed. Guardian, Walker asked, can we win against them? For the first time, the ship hesitated. Unknown. The Council possesses technology far beyond Vrel capabilities. However, victory parameters can be redefined. Meaning? The Guardian was not sent to win a conventional war, the ship explained. It was sent to create a divergent timeline with one difference. Humanity survives. Walker nodded, understanding growing. This wasn't about defeating a superior enemy in direct combat. It was about changing the rules of the game. What do we need to do? He asked. Through the neural link, the Guardian showed them its final protocol and the ultimate price it would demand from its crew. Walker looked at his team, saw the same resolve in their eyes that he felt in his heart. They had all seen the visions of a future where humanity perished. None of them would let that happen. Begin final protocol, Walker ordered. Let's show the Council what humans are really capable of. As the 3 Council ships moved toward Earth, the Guardian began to change, drawing deeper on the life force of its human crew, preparing for the greatest battle humanity would ever face. Final protocol activation in progress, the Guardian announced as energy surged through its systems. Walker felt the ship changing around them. Through his neural link, he sensed parts of the vessel rearranging, like cells in a living organism adapting to a new threat. What's happening? Green asked, her voice strained from the energy the ship was drawing from them. The Guardian is evolving, Jones explained, his engineer's mind understanding the process better than the others. It's becoming something new. Outside, the 3 Council ships approached in a triangle formation. Each was at least 10 times larger than the Guardian, with weapons that could shatter planets. Earth's remaining defenses would be useless against them. As the final protocol continued, a new set of memories flowed into the crew's minds, the complete story of the Guardian and its mission. They saw the future that had been, Earth destroyed, surviving humans hunted across the stars, species after species falling to the Council's rule. They'd done this before, Cooper realized, sorting through the memories. 17 other species with potential wiped out over the past 1,000 years. Ray's eyes widened as she accessed communications memories. The Council doesn't just rule. They deliberately prevent cooperation between younger species. They eliminate any that might challenge them someday. Walker understood then. This wasn't just about saving Earth. It was about breaking the cycle of extinction that had continued for millennia. Guardian, what exactly is the final protocol? Walker asked. Information distribution. The ship replied. In my original timeline, the last humans discovered the coordinates of all subjugated species and the technical specifications of Council weaknesses. That data was stored within me, to be broadcast at a critical moment. You're going to tell everyone how to fight back, Davis said. Correct. But the transmission requires enormous power, more than this vessel can generate alone. Now Walker understood what the ship had been asking of them. You need our life energy. All of it. There was no hesitation in the Guardian's response. Yes, complete neural donation from all 6 crew members will provide sufficient power for galaxy-wide transmission. Survival probability for crew, 0%. The bridge fell silent. Die here, now, or watch humanity, and perhaps a dozen other species face extinction. I'm in, Davis said first, his soldier's heart making the decision simple. Me too, said Green, though her hands trembled slightly. One by one, they all agreed. Walker looked at his crew with pride. None of them had asked for this mission, but each was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. We'd do it, Walker confirmed. But first, we need to buy time for Earth to prepare. Guardian, what offensive capabilities do we still have? The ship displayed its remaining weapons. Most were drained, but one option remained. A focused temporal shield that could be used as a weapon by inverting its field. It won't destroy them, Cooper noted, but it might confuse their sensors long enough for us to get closer. Walker nodded. Do it. The Guardian surged forward, accelerating toward the massive Council ships. They responded with energy beams that lit up space, but the Guardian's shields held. Barely. Shield integrity at 23%, Davis reported. One more hit like that, and we're done. They were close enough now to see details of the Council ships, ancient vessels that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Inverting temporal shield. Now, Cooper commanded. The shield turned inside out, sending a wave of distorted time toward the lead Council ship. On their view screen, they watched as parts of the massive vessel seemed to shift between past and future states, systems failing as they experienced both decay and pre-construction simultaneously. It worked, Jones shouted. Their main weapons are offline. Walker didn't waste the opportunity. Guardian, get us behind them. Ray, can you access Earth's defense network from here? Already on it, Ray replied, her consciousness spreading through Earth's communications, patching us through to all military commands worldwide. Walker's voice reached every defense installation on the planet. This is Captain Walker aboard the Guardian. All Earth forces, fire on the Council ships on my mark. Aim for the sections we're highlighting on your targeting systems. Through Ray, the Guardian sent precise targeting data to Earth's missile defenses and orbital platforms. Fire. From Earth came a barrage of missiles and energy weapons, primitive by Council standards, but perfectly aimed at the weaknesses the Guardian had identified. The wounded Council ship shuddered under the assault. The other two Council vessels moved to protect their flagship, firing at both the Guardian and Earth. One beam hit a defense platform, vaporizing it instantly. We can't win a direct fight, Walker realized. Guardian, how close are we to being ready for the final protocol? Neural interface at 87% capacity. Estimated time to full power, 3 minutes. 3 minutes they might not have. The Council ships were regrouping, their weapons charging for a coordinated attack that would destroy both the Guardian and Earth's defenses. Walker made a final decision. All power to engines. Take us into the middle of their formation. Captain, Jones questioned. We need to be at the center of all three ships when we broadcast. Maximum impact. The Guardian accelerated, pushing between the massive Council vessels before they could react. Alarms blared as their weapons tracked the smaller ship, preparing to fire. A transmission came through from Overseer Thale, his celestial eyes now burning with anger. You cannot change what has been ordained, humans. Your species was never meant to reach the stars. Walker stood on the bridge of the Guardian, surrounded by his brave crew. Years of their lives had already been given to power the ship's weapons. Now they would give the rest. You're wrong, Walker replied. Humanity belongs among the stars. And after today, we won't be alone. He turned to his crew, seeing not fear but determination in their eyes. Guardian, begin final transmission. Tell everyone what the Council has done, and how to fight back. The neural interfaces flared white-hot as the ship drew the last of their life energy. Walker felt his consciousness expanding, merging with the Guardian and his crew. Their individual minds became one, then spread further, connecting to the ship's powerful transmission array. As the Council ships fired, the Guardian released its message, not just data, but the memories and experiences of Walker and his crew, the truth about the Council, and detailed technical specifications for fighting back. The transmission reached every corner of the galaxy, awakening species that had lived under Council rule for centuries. Walker's last conscious thought as his physical body failed was a vision of what would come. Ships rising from a dozen worlds, species that had never met joining together, and at the center of it all, humanity. The Council ship's weapons struck the Guardian as its transmission concluded, tearing the vessel apart. But it was too late. The message had been sent. The tide had turned. And on Earth, as the remains of the Guardian fell like a meteor shower through the atmosphere, a new age was about to begin. The remains of the Guardian fell to Earth like 1,000 shooting stars, lighting up the night sky across the globe. People stepped outside their homes, looking up in wonder and fear, not knowing that they had just witnessed the greatest sacrifice in human history. In orbit, the three Council ships hung motionless. Their weapons had destroyed the Guardian, but something unexpected was happening. The temporal energy released when the Guardian was destroyed had created a strange effect. A shimmering barrier now surrounded Earth, rippling like water whenever the Council ships tested it with their weapons. On the lead Council vessel, Overseer Thale watched in growing alarm as reports came in from across the galaxy. The Guardian's transmission had reached everywhere, awakening every subjugated species to the truth. They had been kept weak and divided by design. Impossible, Thale whispered as the first distress calls arrived. On a dozen worlds, rebellions had begun. Species that had lived under Council rule for centuries were rising up, armed with precise knowledge of how to disable Council technology. Thale turned to his advisors. How did they do this? How could one primitive species change everything in a single day? No one had an answer. What the humans had done should have been impossible. Yet it had happened. We must destroy this world immediately, Thale ordered, before more damage is done. The Council ships fired their planet-killer weapons at Earth, but the shimmering barrier absorbed every attack. More surprising still, with each blast, the barrier seemed to grow stronger. Thale's chief scientist studied the readings with disbelief. The human's consciousness, it's in the barrier. Those 6 humans from the Guardian. Their minds have somehow merged with the temporal energy. They're protecting their world even after death. As the Council ships continued their futile attack, a new signal came through, from Earth itself. General Barnes stood in Earth Command Center, surrounded by representatives from every major nation. Hours earlier, they had been preparing for humanity's end. Now they watched in awe as the barrier created by Walker and his crew deflected attacks that could have shattered planets. The Guardian's data was spreading through Earth's systems, translating alien technology and revealing the truth about the galaxy. Most importantly, it showed them how to use the pieces of the Guardian that had fallen to Earth. "We're ready to respond," Barnes said, nodding to the communications officer. On screens worldwide, Barnes addressed humanity, and through the barrier, the Council ships. "I speak for all people of Earth. Captain James Walker and his crew gave their lives not just to save us, but to free every species oppressed by the Council. Their sacrifice will not be forgotten." He turned to the technicians operating the newly assembled communication array, built from Guardian fragments. "Send the second message. To everyone." Across the galaxy, a new transmission spread. The location of Earth, an invitation to the oppressed, and a promise. "You are not alone anymore. Together, we stand against those who would decide which species deserves to exist." 1 month later, the first alien ships arrived in Earth's solar system. Not Council vessels, but smaller ships carrying representatives from species that had lived under Council rule for generations. The Mira, with their crystalline bodies. The Vosh, amphibian engineers whose technology rivaled the Council's. Even a delegation of Vrel separatists who had broken from their military government. They came in peace, drawn by the promise in the Guardian's message, a new alliance based on mutual respect and cooperation rather than dominance. Earth had changed in that month. The barrier still protected the planet, but now humans understood its true nature. It wasn't just a shield, it was the consciousness of Walker and his crew, evolved into something new. They had become guardians in the most literal sense, their minds preserving the timeline where humanity survived. At the newly established Unity Station in Earth orbit, representatives from 12 species gathered. General Barnes, now serving as Earth's ambassador, addressed them. "We were not ready for the stars," he admitted, "but circumstances forced our hand. We now know that the Council has ruled through fear and division for thousands of years. They prevented cooperation between younger species because they feared what we might become together." A Vosh delegate raised her webbed hand. "The Council fleet has withdrawn to their core systems. Reports suggest civil war has broken out among the Ascendants. For the first time in living memory, they are vulnerable." "We don't seek revenge," Barnes clarified, "but we will ensure they never threaten emerging species again." The meeting continued for hours as the foundation for a new interstellar alliance was formed. not ruled by humans or any single species, but a true cooperative effort, the United Species Alliance. 5 years passed. Earth's technology advanced rapidly with help from their new allies. The first human-built starships were ready, incorporating designs from the Guardian and improvements from a dozen allied species. The flagship of the fleet hovered above Earth, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. On its side, a familiar symbol, a circle with a stylized shield, the emblem taken from the Guardian. Inside the ship, Commander Lisa Ray, the only member of Walker's original team who hadn't been on the Guardian during its final transmission, stood on the bridge. She had been appointed to lead this mission not just because of her experience, but because of her connection to those who had sacrificed everything. "Ship status?" she asked. "All systems ready, Commander," her first officer reported. "The temporal drive is stable. Ambassador Barnes sends his regards from Unity Station." Ray nodded, looking at the view screen showing Earth below. The barrier still shimmered around the planet, fainter now but still present. Walker and his crew, still watching over humanity. "Set course for the outer rim," she ordered. "There are 17 more star systems on our list, places where emerging species need protection from what remains of the Council." As the ship prepared to depart, Ray touched the small plaque beside her command chair. It bore just 8 words. "From nowhere, for everyone. We are the Defenders." The starship, named Guardian Aya, moved away from Earth, its temporal drive engaging. It carried representatives from 8 species, all united in a single purpose: to ensure that no other civilization faced extinction for the crime of having potential. On the bow of the ship, its name gleamed in multiple languages, but below it was a simpler message, one that every crew member had embraced: "Defenders of humanity, and all who wish to join us." As Guardian Aya vanished into the depths of space, the barrier around Earth pulsed once, as if in approval. Captain Walker and his crew had changed not just humanity's fate, but the future of an entire galaxy. Their sacrifice had turned the tide. And now, the Defenders would make sure it never turned back. Commander Jack Wells had been in space for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like this. He stood on the observation deck of Outpost Station 7, looking through the massive window at the old ship that floated in the repair bay. The ship was small and unimpressive. Its hull was covered with dents and scratches from years of floating through space. The words "EORAS PATHFI and DR" were barely visible on its side, hidden under layers of space dust. "They want us to fix this old thing?" Lieutenant Anna Reed asked as she walked up beside him. She shook her head, her short blonde hair catching the light. "It looks ready for the scrap heap." Jack sighed. "Orders from Fleet Admiral Thompson himself. We're to make it ready for space travel as soon as possible." "But why? That ship is at least 200 years old. It's from before we had decent shields or weapons. It's practically a museum piece," Anna said, tapping her datapad to bring up the ship's specs. Jack turned to look at her. "I asked the same question. The Admiral just said it was classified. No explanations given. No questions allowed." Around them, the station hummed with activity. Through another window, Jack could see stars and the edge of a blue-green planet below. But his mind was on the strange orders he had received that morning. The Pathfinder was one of the first human ships to travel beyond our solar system. It was built in a time when humans were just beginning to explore the stars. Its technology was primitive by today's standards. Yet here it was, being brought back to life when humanity needed its best ships, not relics from the past. "The timing doesn't make sense," Jack said, more to himself than to Anna. "Not with what's happening out there." What was happening was war. For the past year, humans had been fighting against an alien coalition called the Hegemony. The aliens were aggressive, powerful, and determined to take human territories. Their main warship, the Iron Vortex Slayer, had destroyed 3 human outposts in just the last month. The massive alien ship seemed impossible to defeat. Its hull could not be damaged by human weapons, and its own weapons could cut through human ships like they were made of paper. "We should be building new ships, not fixing old ones," Anna said. Jack nodded in agreement. "Let's go take a closer look." They walked through the station's corridors until they reached the airlock that connected to the repair bay. After going through the security checks, they entered the large open area where the Pathfinder waited. Up close, the old ship looked even worse. It was small compared to modern vessels, about the size of a destroyer, but with none of the sleek design or powerful weapon systems that modern destroyers had. Its hull was a patchwork of repairs and modifications from its long service life. Chief Engineer Kelly, report. Jack called out to a man in a work suit who was examining a panel on the ship's side. Marcus Kelly turned and wiped sweat from his forehead. He was a large man with rough hands and 20 years of experience fixing ships. "Commander, this thing is a mess inside and out. Half the systems don't work, and the other half work in ways I don't understand." "What do you mean?" Jack asked. Marcus pointed to an open panel. "Look at this power system. It's not like anything I've ever seen. It's not in the specs either. Someone modified this ship a long time ago with technology I can't identify." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. Something wasn't right about this mission. "How long until it can fly?" he asked. Marcus laughed. "Fly? I'd be happy if I could get the lights to stay on for more than an hour. But with a full team working around the clock, maybe 3 weeks. That's just to make it move and breathe, not fight." "You have 1 week," Jack said, repeating the timeline the Admiral had given him. Marcus started to protest, but stopped when he saw Jack's serious expression. "I'll need more people," he said instead. "You'll have them," Jack promised. "Whatever you need to get this ship ready." As they talked, a woman in a science uniform approached them. She had been inside the ship and was carrying a tablet filled with data. "Commander Wells, I'm Dr. Lisa Moore, Xenotech Specialist," she said, offering her hand. "I was sent by Fleet Command to assist with the Pathfinder." Jack shook her hand. "Xenotech, you study alien technology." Lisa nodded, her dark eyes serious. "Admiral Thompson thought my expertise might be needed. Now I see why." She held up her tablet, showing readings from inside the ship. "There are systems on this vessel that aren't human in origin." Jack, Anna, and Marcus looked at each other in surprise. "What do you mean, not human?" Anna asked. "I mean," Lisa said quietly, "that some of the technology on this ship appears to have been created by an advanced alien civilization. Technology we've never encountered before." Jack felt his heart beat faster. When was this ship last in service? Where did it go? Lisa checked her tablet again. Its last mission was 183 years ago. It went beyond the Perseus arm, farther than any human ship had gone at that time. Then there's a gap in the records, about 3 months with no data. When the logs resume, the ship was on its way back to Earth. Everything after that is classified at the highest level. Jack looked back at the old ship with new eyes. It wasn't just a relic, it was a mystery. What had happened during those missing months? What had the ship encountered out there in deep space? As if in answer to his unspoken questions, the lights in the repair bay flickered. For just a moment, Jack thought he saw a pulse of blue light move across the Pathfinder's hull. "Did you see that?" he asked. The others shook their heads. "Let's get to work," Jack said, unable to shake the feeling that the ship was watching them. 1 week to get this ship spaceworthy. What none of them knew was that deep inside the Pathfinder's ancient computer core, systems that had been dormant for nearly 2 centuries were starting to wake up. The ship had sensed a threat, the same type of threat it had been modified to counter long ago. As the engineers began their work, circuits long dormant began to power up. Software no human had designed began to run quiet diagnostics. The Pathfinder was awakening, and it had a mission none of them understood yet. A mission it had been waiting almost 200 years to complete. 3 days had passed since work began on the Pathfinder. The repair bay hummed with activity as engineers and technicians worked around the clock. Chief Engineer Marcus Kelly hadn't slept for more than 4 hours at a time. His work suit was stained with oil, and his eyes were red from lack of sleep. "This ship is fighting me," he muttered as he tried to reconnect power to the bridge controls. Every time they fixed one system, another would shut down. It was like trying to solve a puzzle that kept changing. Dr. Lisa Moore sat cross-legged on the floor nearby, her tablet connected to the ship's computer. "These readings don't make sense," she said, pushing her glasses up her nose. "The power core is drawing energy from somewhere, but I can't find the source. It's not fusion, not antimatter. I've never seen anything like it." Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead and looked over at her screen. "Could it be the alien tech you mentioned?" Lisa nodded slowly. "I think so. But it's integrated with the human systems in ways I don't understand. It's like they're talking to each other." Just then, the lights in the section they were working on dimmed, then brightened again. A soft hum filled the air. "Did you do that?" Lisa asked. Marcus shook his head. "I didn't touch anything." They both stared at the control panel as numbers and symbols flashed across the screen faster than they could read. "Get the commander," Marcus said quietly. Now, Commander Jack Wells sat alone in his office, reviewing old files about the Pathfinder. Most of the information was basic: when it was built, its original crew, its missions, but there was almost nothing about its final journey beyond the Perseus arm. Just a departure date, then a gap, then its return. Everything else was marked classified with a security level Jack had never even seen before. His computer beeped with an incoming message. It was from Admiral Thompson. "Progress report, Commander," the Admiral said, his gray-haired image appearing on the screen. "We're working as fast as we can, sir," Jack replied. "But there are complications. The ship has been modified with technology we don't recognize." The Admiral's face showed no surprise. "That's why Dr. Moore is there. She can help you understand the modifications." "Sir, with all due respect, what is really going on? Why this ship? Why now?" Admiral Thompson was quiet for a moment. Then he sighed. "The hegemony fleet is advancing faster than we expected. They'll reach the Sol system in 10 days. The Iron Vortex Slayer is leading them." Jack felt cold fear in his stomach. Earth, humanity's home, was in danger. "Our defense fleet won't be enough," the Admiral cut him off. "We've lost 12 more ships trying to slow them down. Nothing we have can stand against the Slayer." "And you think this ancient ship can help?" "Sir, it has no modern weapons, no advanced shields." "It has something better," the Admiral said. His voice was tired but certain. "Trust me, Wells. Get that ship running. It's more important than you know." The screen went dark before Jack could ask more questions. "Commander," Anna's voice came through his communicator. "You need to come to the Pathfinder right away. Something's happening." By the time Jack reached the repair bay, a small crowd had gathered around the old ship. Marcus, Lisa, and Anna were standing near the main entrance, staring at the vessel. "What's going on?" Jack demanded. "See for yourself," Marcus said, pointing. The Pathfinder was changing. Its scared hull now had a smooth, almost polished look. The old paint and markings were gone, replaced by a metal surface that seemed to shift colors slightly as Jack watched. "It started about an hour ago," Lisa explained. "The ship is repairing itself." "That's impossible," Jack said, but he could see it happening with his own eyes. "That's not all," Anna added. "Look at the engines." Jack walked around to the back of the ship. The engine section, which had been a mess of old parts and outdated technology, was now streamlined and glowing with a soft blue light. "How is this happening?" he asked. Lisa consulted her tablet. "The alien systems are taking over. They're reconfiguring the ship, upgrading it. And there's something else." She hesitated. "The ship's AI is active." "This ship doesn't have an eye," Jack said. Early human ships had simple computer systems, not the advanced artificial intelligence that modern ships used. It does now, Lisa replied. Or maybe it always did, and it was just dormant. But it's awake now, and it's taking control of the ship's functions. Jack approached the ship cautiously and placed his hand on the hull. It felt warm, almost alive. "Can we communicate with it?" he asked. As if in answer, the ship's main hatch opened with a hiss. Lights came on inside, illuminating a corridor that led deeper into the vessel. "I think it wants us to come in," Anna said, her voice a mix of awe and fear. Jack made a quick decision. "Lisa, Marcus, come with me. Anna, stay out here and keep everyone else back until we know it's safe." The three of them entered the ship slowly. The interior was as changed as the exterior. Gone were the cramped, utilitarian corridors of an early human vessel. The passages were now wider, the lighting soft but clear. The walls had the same shifting, metallic appearance as the hull. "It's reconfigured the inside too," Marcus whispered. "This isn't even the same layout anymore." They made their way to what should have been the bridge. The door slid open as they approached, revealing a command center unlike anything they had seen before. The old manual controls were gone, replaced by sleek panels that lit up as they entered. In the center was a single chair, positioned before a large view screen. "Welcome, Commander Wells," a voice said. It was neither male nor female, neither human nor clearly artificial. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. Jack froze. "You know who I am." "I have accessed your station's database," the voice replied. "I know who all of you are. Chief Engineer Marcus Kelly. Xenotechnology Specialist Dr. Lisa Moore. What are you?" Lisa asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "I am the Pathfinder," the voice said simply. "I was modified to serve as a guardian vessel 183 years ago. I have been waiting for the conditions that would activate my primary protocols." "What conditions?" Jack asked. "What protocols?" "The presence of prohibited technology. The Iron Vortex Slayer uses systems that violate the compact. My function is to enforce the compact." The three humans looked at each other in confusion. "I don't understand," Jack said. "What compact?" The view screen activated, showing an image of the stars. "The agreement between the elder races of this galaxy. Some technologies are too dangerous to be used. The hegemony has broken this rule. They must be stopped. That's why Admiral Thompson wanted this ship," Marcus realized. He knew what it could do. "The human you call Thompson is one of the few who knows part of my purpose," the voice confirmed. "But even he does not understand fully. None of you do. But you will learn." Suddenly, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Anna's voice came through Jack's communicator, urgent and frightened. "Commander, we're picking up multiple hegemony ships on long-range scanners. They've changed course. They're heading directly for us." The voice of the Pathfinder spoke again, and this time there was a new tone to it, something like determination. "They have sensed my awakening. They know what I am. We must prepare." On the view screen, the stars began to move as the ship's sensors focused on a distant point of light. Jack could just make out several shapes moving against the blackness of space. The hegemony was coming. And somehow, this ancient ship that no one had feared was the only thing standing in their way. Alarms blared throughout Outpost Station 7. Red emergency lights flashed in every corridor as personnel rushed to their stations. On the main command deck, screens showed 5 hegemony warships approaching. The largest was the Iron Vortex Slayer itself, a massive black vessel shaped like a sharp-edged star. It was twice the size of the largest human battleship, and far more powerful. "They'll be here in 6 hours, Anna reported, her face pale as she studied the tactical display. "Station defenses won't hold against that many ships, especially not against the Slayer." Commander Jack Wells stood in the center of the command deck, his mind racing. "Order all non-essential personnel to the escape pods. Begin evacuation procedures." "Sir." Anna looked up in surprise. This station can't withstand an attack from the Slayer. We need to save as many people as we can, Jack explained. He turned to the communications officer. Send a message to Fleet Command. Tell them the Hegemony fleet has changed course and is heading for Station 7. Request immediate assistance. But Jack knew help wouldn't arrive in time. The nearest human fleet was days away. They were on their own. His communicator beeped. It was Dr. Lisa Moore calling from the Pathfinder. Commander, you need to get back here, she said urgently. The ship, it's doing something. When Jack returned to the repair bay, he found the Pathfinder completely transformed. The old, battered vessel was gone. In its place floated a sleek ship with a smooth, silvery hull that seemed to catch and reflect light in impossible ways. It was still small compared to modern warships, but it radiated power in a way Jack couldn't explain. Marcus and Lisa waited for him at the entrance. It's finished repairing itself, Marcus said, his voice filled with awe. All systems are online and functional. Power levels are off the charts. The AI is requesting to speak with you, Lisa added. It says it's ready for its mission. Jack nodded and followed them into the ship. The interior had changed even more since his last visit. The bridge now featured 6 stations arranged in a circle around the central command chair. Each station glowed with soft light, displaying information in both human language and strange symbols Jack didn't recognize. Welcome back, Commander. The ship's voice greeted him as he entered. We have a problem, Jack said. 5 hegemony ships are heading this way, including the Iron Vortex Slayer. They'll reach us in less than 6 hours. We're evacuating the station. That is expected, the AI replied calmly. They have detected my reactivation. The Slayer recognizes what I am and considers me a threat. And what exactly are you? Jack asked. The view screen at the front of the bridge came to life, showing strange images, stars, planets, and creatures Jack had never seen before. Long ago, before humans reached the stars, there were elder races who explored this galaxy, the AI explained. They discovered technologies that could reshape reality itself. Some used this power wisely, others did not. Great wars were fought that scared the galaxy. The images changed to show terrible destruction, planets breaking apart, stars exploding. Eventually, the surviving races created the compact. They agreed that certain technologies were too dangerous to use. They created guardians, ships like me, to enforce this agreement. And the hegemony has broken this agreement? Jack asked. Yes. The Iron Vortex Slayer uses prohibited technology stolen from an ancient site. That is why your weapons cannot harm it. That is why it must be stopped. Jack took a deep breath. Can you stop it? That is my purpose. But I need a crew. My systems were designed to work with organic minds. Will you help me, Commander Wells? Jack thought about the station personnel evacuating, about Earth lying vulnerable in the path of the hegemony fleet, about Admiral Thompson sending him to find the ship. Yes, he said firmly. What do you need me to do? Gather a crew. 5 others besides yourself. We must depart within 2 hours to intercept the hegemony fleet away from the station. 90 minutes later, Jack stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder with the crew he had chosen. Anna as tactical officer, Marcus as engineer, Lisa to monitor the alien systems, and 2 others, Sam Johnson, the station's best pilot, and Alex Torres, their top communications specialist. None of them had volunteered for what was clearly a suicide mission, but none had refused when Jack explained what was at stake. The Pathfinder believes it can stop the Iron Vortex Slayer, Jack told them as they took their stations. I don't understand how, but right now, it's the only hope we have. This is insane, Sam muttered as he settled into the pilot's seat. We're going to fight 5 enemy ships with an antique. This antique has surprises, the ship's voice said. Please secure yourselves. Launch sequence initiating. The crew strapped themselves into their chairs. On the view screen, They could see the repair bay doors beginning to open. "Wait," Anna said suddenly. "We haven't disconnected from the station's power and supply lines." "No need," Marcus replied, checking his console. "They've already detached themselves. This ship it's incredible. It's like it's thinking ahead of us. I am designed for efficient operation," the AI said simply. "Launching now." There was no feeling of movement, no vibration or sound. One moment they were in the repair bay, and the next they were in open space, moving away from the station faster than should have been possible. "Current speed is 0.3 light, Sam reported, his eyes wide as he looked at his instruments. "No G-forces at all. How is this possible?" "The ship is generating its own gravity field and inertial control," Lisa explained, studying her readings. "It's technology centuries beyond what we have now." The station shrank behind them as the Pathfinder accelerated even more. "Setting intercept course with Hegemony Fleet," Sam said. "At this speed, we'll reach them in under an hour." Jack settled into the command chair, feeling its contours adjust to perfectly support his body. "What's the plan when we reach them?" he asked the ship. "I will attempt communication first," the AI replied. "If they ignore the warning, I will enforce the compact." "And how exactly will you do that?" Jack pressed. "The Iron Vortex Slayer has destroyed dozens of our ships. What makes you different?" "You will see," the AI said. There was something in its voice that hadn't been there before, something that sounded almost like anticipation. As the ship raced through space, faster than any human vessel had ever traveled, Jack noticed something strange. The crew stations were beginning to change, the controls reshaping themselves under the crew's hands. Light pulsed along pathways in the floor and walls. "The ship is adapting to us," Lisa observed, watching her console shift and change. "It's learning how we think, how we work." "And it's teaching us," Marcus added, his fingers moving across his station with increasing confidence. "I somehow know how to control systems I've never seen before." Jack felt it too, a growing connection to the ship, as if the Pathfinder was becoming an extension of his own thoughts. It was unsettling, but also exhilarating. "Contact in 20 minutes, Sam announced. On the view screen, the stars blurred as the Pathfinder pushed itself faster. Ahead, 5 points of light grew larger, the Hegemony Fleet. The Iron Vortex Slayer was at the center, its black hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. "They've detected us," Anna reported. "They're changing formation, weapons powering up." Jack took a deep breath. 6 humans in an ancient ship facing the most powerful enemy fleet humanity had ever encountered. It should have been terrifying, but somehow he felt strangely calm. "Prepare for contact," he ordered. "And let's show them what this old ship can really do." The Pathfinder raced through space toward the approaching Hegemony Fleet. On the bridge, the crew watched as the enemy ships grew larger on the view screen. The Iron Vortex Slayer dominated the formation, its massive black hull shaped like a giant throwing star with sharp edges that seemed to cut through space itself. 5 minutes to contact," Sam reported from the pilot's station. His hands moved across controls that shifted and changed under his touch, responding to his thoughts as much as his actions. "All systems at full power," Marcus added from engineering. "Whatever this ship plans to do, it's ready to do it." Jack sat in the command chair, feeling the connection between himself and the Pathfinder growing stronger by the minute. It was as if the ship was extending its awareness through him, and he through it. "Open a communication channel," he ordered. Alex Torres, at the communication station, worked her controls. "Channel open, Commander." "This is Commander Jack Wells of the Earth ship Pathfinder," Jack said, his voice steady despite the tension. "Hegemony vessels, you are using prohibited technology in violation of the compact. Power down your weapons and prepare to surrender the Iron Vortex Slayer." For a long moment, there was silence. Then the view screen changed to show an alien face. The creature had gray-blue skin stretched over a bony face with 4 yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Sharp teeth showed as it spoke. "I am Commander Drak of the Hegemony," the alien said in a harsh voice that the ship translated automatically. "Humans send one small old ship to face our fleet. Your desperation amuses us." Before Jack could respond, the ship's eye spoke. Its voice had changed, deeper, more powerful, with harmonics that seemed to vibrate in the air itself. "This vessel speaks with guardian authority," it stated. "The Iron Vortex Slayer contains prohibited technology from Sector 7 to 93. Surrender the vessel for containment." Drak's expression changed instantly from amusement to shock. The alien commander stepped back from the screen, its four eyes widening. "Impossible," Drak hissed. "The Guardians are gone. They disappeared eons ago." "The Guardians created failsafes before their departure," the AI replied. "I am one such measure activated by your violation. Last warning. Power down and surrender the prohibited technology." Drak's face twisted with anger and fear. "Never." The communication cut off abruptly. "They're powering weapons." Anna called out from tactical. "All 5 ships are targeting us." Jack gripped the arms of his command chair. "What now?" he asked the ship. "Now we enforce the compact," the AI replied calmly. Suddenly, Lisa gasped at her station, where she monitored the alien systems. "The ship is accessing hidden protocols," she reported. "Energy levels are rising beyond anything I've ever seen." On the view screen, they could see the Hegemony vessels firing. Beams of deadly energy lanced toward the Pathfinder, bright enough to make the crew shield their eyes. "Braced for impact," Jack shouted. But the expected hit never came. The energy beams struck an invisible barrier around the Pathfinder and simply vanished, absorbed without effect. "No damage," Marcus reported, his voice filled with wonder. "Our shields, or whatever they are, didn't even flicker." The ship's eye spoke again, but this time it addressed the crew directly. "It is time you understood what I truly am. Watch and learn." The bridge lights dimmed, and the view screen expanded until it surrounded them on all sides, giving the impression that they were floating in space itself. Around them appeared images, planets, stars, and beings of light and energy, unlike anything they had seen before. 17 million years ago, the elder races of this galaxy reached a level of technology that allowed them to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality, the AI explained as the images flowed around them. They could create and destroy matter, bend space and time, even alter the laws of physics within limited areas. The images changed to show terrible destruction, planets cracking open, stars collapsing, entire systems vanishing in flashes of impossible energy. This power led to conflicts, what you would call wars, though that word is insufficient. Billions of lives were lost. Thousands of worlds were destroyed. The very fabric of this galaxy was damaged. Lisa leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "The great rifts," she whispered. "The empty zones where stars should be but aren't. That was from these wars." "Yes," the AI confirmed. Eventually, the surviving races realized they must establish limits. They created the compact, a set of rules governing which technologies could be used and which were too dangerous. They also created enforcers, vessels like me, to maintain these rules. But the Guardians themselves, what happened to them? Jack asked. "They evolved beyond physical form," the AI answered. "But before departing this realm of existence, they chose certain younger species to serve as caretakers. Humans were one such species. Us." Anna asked in disbelief. "Why would they choose humans?" "Your adaptability, your curiosity combined with empathy, your potential." The Pathfinder encountered Guardian representatives 183 years ago. They'd modified this vessel, installed me as its consciousness, and placed us in dormancy until needed. The surrounding images faded, bringing them back to the reality of the bridge and the Hegemony fleet ahead of them. "The Iron Vortex Slayer uses technology from a Guardian weapons facility," the AI continued. The hegemony discovered the facility 50 of your years ago. They did not understand what they found, but they used it to create weapons that violate the compact. Jack understood now why Admiral Thompson had ordered the Pathfinder recommissioned. Somehow, the old admiral had known what the ship really was. "That's why our weapons can't harm the Slayer," Jack said. "It's using technology we don't understand." "Correct," the AI confirmed. "But I understand it, and I can counter it." "They're firing again," Anna warned. This time, multiple beams from all 5 hegemony ships converged on the Pathfinder. Once again, they struck the invisible barrier and disappeared without effect. "The Slayer is moving," Sam reported. "It's coming straight for us." The massive enemy flagship accelerated toward them, its pointed edges looking more threatening than ever. "They intend to ram us," Jack realized. "They can't harm us with their weapons, so they'll try to destroy us physically." But the AI seemed unconcerned. "Now you will see why the Guardians were feared throughout the galaxy," it said. "Now you will understand what I truly am." The ship hummed with power. Jack felt energy flowing through the vessel, through the crew, through him. It wasn't painful. It felt like being filled with light. "What's happening?" he asked, watching his own hands begin to glow with a soft blue radiance. "I am synchronizing with you," the AI replied. "The Guardians designed me to work in harmony with organic minds. Together, we are more powerful than either alone." As the iron vortex Slayer bore down on them, the Pathfinder began to shine with brilliant light. Energy coursed across its hull in patterns that seemed to form symbols and equations, the language of physics itself being rewritten. "We are ready," the AI announced. "Commander Wells, give the order." Jack felt the ship waiting for his command, felt the ancient power held in check until he released it. He thought of Earth, of all humanity depending on them in this moment. "Enforce the compact," he ordered. "Stop the Slayer." The Pathfinder's response was both subtle and overwhelming. A wave of energy unlike anything human science had ever created pulsed outward from the small ship, rippling through space toward the oncoming enemy. The wave of energy from the Pathfinder spread outward like ripples in a pond. It was beautiful, a shimmering blue-white light that seemed to bend the very fabric of space. The crew watched in awe as it flowed toward the approaching hegemony ships. When it reached the 4 smaller vessels, they suddenly stopped moving. Their engines died, and their weapons powered down. They drifted helplessly in space, disabled but intact. But when the energy wave touched the iron vortex Slayer, something very different happened. The massive warship shuddered as if struck by an invisible hammer. Its hull, which had withstood the most powerful human weapons without a scratch, began to glow with an angry red light. "What's happening to it?" Jack asked, leaning forward in his command chair. "The prohibited technology is being contained," the AI replied. "The process has begun." On the view screen, they could see the Slayer fighting against the Pathfinder's energy. Beams of black light shot from its weapons, only to dissolve harmlessly against the wave. The ship tried to move away, but it was held in place as if caught in an invisible net. "Incoming transmission," Alex reported from communications. Commander Drock's face appeared on the screen again. The alien looked terrified now, all 4 of its eyes wide with panic. "Stop this," Drock demanded. "You don't understand what you're doing. The technology cannot be contained. It will destroy us all." "The technology can and will be contained," the Pathfinder's AI replied calmly. "That is my purpose." "We surrender," Drock shouted. "We will give you anything you want. Just stop this process." Jack looked at his crew, then addressed the AI. "Can we accept their surrender? Let them live." "The crew can be spared," the AI answered. "But the prohibited technology must be contained. It is too dangerous to exist." Jack nodded. "Commander Drock, order your crew to the escape pods. We will allow them to leave before we finish with your ship." On the screen, Drock hesitated, then barked orders to someone off-screen. Moments later, Anna reported from her tactical station. Multiple escape pods launching from all hegemony vessels, she said. They're really abandoning ship. Good, Jack said. Let them go. He turned to the main view screen. Pathfinder, proceed with containment once all life forms are clear of the target. Acknowledged, the eye replied. They watched as dozens of small pods ejected from the hegemony ships and moved away to a safe distance. Scanner readings confirmed that all alien life signs had evacuated the vessels. All hegemony crew clear, Anna reported. The Pathfinder's energy field intensified. The lights surrounding the iron vortex slayer grew brighter, changing from blue to pure white. The massive ship began to tremble more violently. Final containment sequence initiating, the AI announced. What happened next was something none of the human crew would ever forget. The Iron Vortex Slayer, pride of the hegemony fleet and terror of human space, began to fold in upon itself. It was as if space itself was bending around the ship, compressing it from all sides. The process was eerily silent and methodical. The mighty warship that had stretched nearly a kilometer across shrank before their eyes. -800 meters, 500 meters, 200 meters. Its sharp edges curved inward, its weapons and systems collapsing into an ever-decreasing space. My God, Marcus whispered from his engineering station. It's creating some kind of space-time fold. Lisa nodded, her fingers flying across her console as she tried to analyze what was happening. The ship is compressing the Slayer and all its technology into a self-contained pocket of space-time. It's like creating a tiny universe separate from our own. They watched in stunned silence as the Iron Vortex Slayer continued to shrink -50 meters, 10 meters, 1 meter, until it was just a point of brilliant light hanging in space. Then, with a final flash, that point vanished completely. Where the most powerful warship in known space had been, there was nothing. No debris, no radiation, no trace that it had ever existed. Target contained, the AI stated simply. Threat neutralized. The bridge was silent for a long moment as the crew tried to process what they had just witnessed. What just happened to it? Sam finally asked from the pilot's station. The prohibited technology has been isolated in a sealed dimensional pocket, the AI explained. It can no longer affect our universe. The containment will last for approximately 1 billion years, after which the pocket will dissipate harmlessly. Jack leaned back in his chair, feeling suddenly exhausted. And the other ships? Their conventional systems have been disabled, but can be repaired. They pose no further threat. We did it, Anna said quietly, her voice filled with wonder. We actually stopped them. Jack looked around at his crew, 5 humans who had just witnessed something beyond human understanding. They had faced the most powerful enemy humanity had ever known and emerged victorious. What happens now? He asked the AI. The view screen changed to show a map of the galaxy. Several points of light began to glow at different locations. There are other violations of the compact that require attention, the AI replied. Other prohibited technologies being used or developed. My purpose is to address these threats. And you need us, humans, to help you. Jack asked. Yes. The Guardians designed me to work with organic minds. We are more effective together than apart. Jack thought about what this meant. The Pathfinder wasn't just a ship. It was a guardian of the galaxy, a keeper of ancient and dangerous knowledge. And somehow it had chosen them to be its crew. If we help you, Jack said carefully, will we be protecting Earth, keeping humanity safe? Yes, the AI confirmed. The greatest threats to your species come from technologies that violate the compact. By enforcing these rules, we protect all species, including humans. Jack looked at his crew. What do you all think? Continue this mission or go home? Anna spoke first. After what we just saw, how can we go back to ordinary lives? We can make a real difference out here. Marcus nodded. This ship is beyond anything I've ever dreamed of. I want to understand it, to learn from it. The scientific discoveries alone would be worth it, Lisa added, "Imagine what we could learn about the universe." Sam and Alex voiced their agreement as well. The decision was unanimous. Jack turned back to face the view screen. "All right, Pathfinder. We're with you. Where do we go first?" "First, we should return to your space to report what has happened," the AI said. "Your leaders will need to understand the new reality. Then we will begin our true mission." As the Pathfinder turned and accelerated away from the disabled hegemony vessels, Jack felt a strange mix of emotions. Fear at the unknown journey ahead, pride in what they had accomplished, and wonder at the vast universe that had suddenly opened up before them. The ancient ship that no one had feared had revealed itself as the most powerful force in the galaxy, and humanity, represented by 6 ordinary people, had just become part of something extraordinary. Guardians of an ancient compact that protected all life in the stars. As if reading his thoughts, the AI spoke one last time before they jumped to faster-than-light speed. "This is only the beginning, Commander Wells. Our journey together has just begun." The stars streaked into lines of light as the Pathfinder leaped forward, carrying its human crew toward a destiny none of them could have imagined.